guys, welcome back to my channel, Lyssa the Healer. Wait, I'm sorry. The fro's not in the frame. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Lyssa the Healer. I am so excited today. My name is Alyssa, if you don't know me yet, and I have my special guest here, Lay, and her glorious fro. Can we take a moment? Go ahead, take it. Oh my gosh, take it all in. Take all the melanin, all the crown. It's the crown for me. Anyway, today we are talking about love. A lot of people want to talk about dating and medicine, how people go about it, and whatever. If you're thinking you're gonna get some tea from me, plot twist. Okay, maybe you won't.
It's not juice in that frozen.
Maybe you get some tea, maybe you won't. You have to keep watching the video to find out. Hi, Lay.
Hey.
So, something special happened in June, huh?
Yeah, I got married.
Show that ring, put it on and make him wanna marry me. Okay, so Lay got married over the summer, and basically, first of all, before we start talking about love, how rude of me, please tell us a little bit about yourself and about your pre-med journey, like briefly. I know it's your pre-med journey. Anything you want to talk about?
To be brief with that. Anyway, I'm Laydrika. Most people call me Lay. So, like she said, I'm a second-year medical school student, and I go to church. Now you're gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah, no, I won't.
Yeah, I'm Lay. I am a second-year medical school student, and we go to school together. What else did you ask me about?
A little bit about your pre-med journey, please.
That was interesting. So, went to high school, the good shebang, and then went to college. I did 3 years in college.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what type of program, pre-med program, would let you do 3 years? What type of program was that?
So, it was a 4-year program.
Okay.
It was a 4-year program. But what happened was there was some mistake in my financial aid, and I didn't get any financial aid first year, so my parents had to be out of pocket.
Oh, okay.
So I felt guilty about that and the fact that I had 2 little sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a plan. I stayed up one night, came up with a plan, and just figured out how to finish college in 3 years, and then I just made it happen.
Damn.
So because in my head, it would help me save 1 year and save my parents 1 year worth of college money. So that's why it happened like that.
Okay, so from there, you were planning on going straight into medical school.
Yes, I was planning on going straight into medical school, but I didn't have much guidance then, so I didn't really know how to go about it. I hadn't even taken the MCAT. I hadn't done anything. And one thing I knew was that I really wanted to stay close to my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So the only schools I was really considering were schools that would be in Massachusetts, because that's where I wanted to stay with my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, long story short, I didn't know about it. I didn't take the MCAT, so needless to say, I didn't apply that summer. And I was looking for something to do, so I ended up doing City Year for a year. It's a volunteering program if you don't know about it. And what else? While I was in City Year, I decided to apply for a master's. I did a biomedical sciences master's at Tufts. And then after I did that, I applied to medical school. Mm-hmm. Even with the master's, I wasn't really hearing from anybody except that one school. But I didn't know about the interview until later. So basically, they sent me an email about an interview that I did not get, so I missed that opportunity. Right. But thankfully, I had applied to the school I'm in right now.
Right.
And they accepted me for the master's program. I did that, and now here we are.
Yes. So Lay also did the master's program that I did. By now, I should have posted the end of my pre-med journey, hopefully. But if it's not posted yet, I basically did a master's program, and through that I was able to matriculate directly into the medical school that we're at, and they did the same thing. And fun fact, we knew each other in Haiti as well. So it was
That's
just
crazy,
like,
isn't it?
yeah, it was very random. Like we haven't spoken since we left Haiti basically. And then her sister posted something like, congratulations to my sister, and I was like, oh, give me her number so I can congratulate her myself. And I'm here asking questions like, oh my gosh, like, where are you going? And we ended up in the same school, in the same program. So if it's meant to be, it will be, it will be.
Speaking of love.
Yeah. Speaking of if it's meant to be, let's talk about love. Going into medical school, or even doing the master's, at any point of your journey, did you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to put love aside to focus on my studies, and then when I'm done, or when I feel like I have less of a load, I'll think about dating? Did you feel like that?
I did not feel like that.
Okay.
I do believe that when things are meant to happen, they'll happen. And you just basically shutting down that one aspect of your life doesn't make it better, because you can't really keep on telling yourself that I'll do this after I'm done with this.
Right.
Because what happens after you get into residency and things get really hard? What happens after you become an attending and you have even more responsibilities?
Yeah.
So I think everything in life is sort of like trying to find your balance and making things happen.
Okay.
Do we have the time? Probably not, but you create it. You have to do what you have to do.
Okay, so with that said, as you were in the master's program, were you like actively looking for something, or were you just, did it just fall in your lap?
It didn't really just fall in my lap. I was on online dating sites. And was I looking for something that would last? I want to say yes and no, because I didn't really have much trust in the process.
Right.
But I'm a hopeless romantic, so I did tell myself that if it were to happen, I'd be happy about it. But I mean, it's kind of like telling yourself to not expect too much so you don't get disappointed.
Oh, girl, tell me about that.
So basically that was it. I don't want to say that I wasn't actively looking, but I don't want to say that I was actively looking.
Yeah, you were basically go with the flow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pretty much.
Okay.
That's a good way of putting it. Pretty much.
Okay. So then when you were on the dating sites or whatever, hanging out with friends, when you were looking at the pool of men, did you have certain criteria you were looking at, or were you just like, oh, he cute, let's go with that?
I'm not much of a physical characteristics type of person. Obviously, I want you to look good enough that would make decent children. But it was mostly ambition, just like knowing that I would have someone who can push me towards my goal and that I can push towards their goal.
Right.
And I didn't want someone who did not believe in God. Even if the religion was different, I did want someone who knew that there was a God.
Yes.
Yeah, it was mostly that. And obviously every girl says that taller than me.
Taller.
But that's not hard. I'm 5 feet too. So.
6 feet or taller, baby.
But yeah, this was mostly what I was looking for. And also, I wanted someone who was family oriented. Someone who I knew that, because I'm very family oriented, so I would want someone who I can share that with.
Right.
Not someone who would, how do you say it, just put themselves first and only themselves first. Think about family and all that you do.
Yeah. I actually like that you mentioned going with the flow, because that's something I personally struggle with. I cannot go with the flow. I need a plan. I need to know from plan A to Z, okay?
Yeah,
if you're presenting to me, I need to see the vision, okay? If I don't see it, I don't see it. That's how I am. And it's interesting because Lay was successful, clearly. Show the ring again, girl. She was successful at online dating, and for me, it gives me anxiety. Please like this video if you feel the same way. I don't know what it is about online dating. Maybe I don't understand the process, but I've tried. and I've left about 24 hours or a week later.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. You see? And Lay sometimes encourages me to like go outside of my comfort zone and things like that. But I don't know. To each their own. I think it's a great way to meet people, especially for people who are busy like us. Like we don't get to go out every weekend or like just happy hour. Either way, there's a pandemic now, so everybody's going online now to have a chat, meet somebody, unless it's your neighbor, a neighbor you didn't know about. Like I don't see how you're meeting people right now. But with that said, like when you got into the master's program, were you open to dating people in the school, or were you like, nah, like no play zone?
I didn't really think about it much, but if it had happened, I would have let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
If I had found someone I liked or someone who liked me, then
there it is.
Then I probably would have dated them, but
yeah. Actually, a lot of well, I can't say a lot. A few couples are usually made in medical school.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually in the beginning, people are quick with it. Okay, people are very quick with it.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who's like trying to mingle, look during your interviews, during orientation. Well, it's already too late this year, but next year, okay, do you
shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. Like, I know a few people. Well, like not. I've seen, for instance, with YouTubers, or actually one of my friends who got married also met her now husband in medical school, and it was basically like first week type of thing, real quick. By a month, already dating. The next month, like they went to their formal. Next thing I know, they're engaged. So keep your eyes open. For me, I don't know.
I don't know. I think you also have to have the personality to be able to meet somebody like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because I personally am very like introverted.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be hard for me to just
shoot my
throw
shot.
myself out there.
As you guys can see, I have a lot of rules. I just get nervous to date someone at school, because if you think about it, you're stuck with that person for 4 years. Okay, 2 years to 4 years. Because if you get separated for rotations, maybe you can get some freedom, something goes down. But I like to think about the pros and cons of my actions. So if I were to date someone in medical school, it would have to be someone I'm really sure about. Like I really see a future with them.
Right.
It wouldn't be a casual situation. But people still do it. The tea's hot, I know. But people still do it. So another thing that I wanted to ask you is, when you were looking online as a Black woman, did you feel like, okay, there are two sides of this. First of all, did you feel like you needed a chocolate man in your life? Like, it's chocolate or nothing? Or were you open, like, from the get-go?
I was open
dating?
from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really care much. Well, there are a couple of
plus or minus a few.
Yeah, but I didn't really care much about that aspect of things, as long as they were with the culture,
Yeah.
But yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty open with my options and who I wanted to date. It was mostly like inner things that I was looking for.
That's good. That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
My chocolate man out there, I appreciate you. But let's be serious. Let's be serious. It's not about me. It's about Lay today, okay? So the other question I wanted to ask you, because I felt like this was my experience, briefly, for the brief moments I was on the dating sites, I felt like some people were intimidated by like the title, even the title of medical student. It's not like I have the title of doctor yet, and just that already intimidated people? Did you have a similar experience? Was that something you were worried about?
I wasn't really worried about it online, creating my profile. I actually didn't even think about it, but in real life, I have experienced that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had people. Well, long story short, I was told by someone that someone else liked me.
Oh my gosh, one of those.
They were talking about it, saying that they wouldn't dare approach me because I was on my way to medical school. I wasn't even in yet. I was on my way to medical school.
That's
and
even
funny thing
worse.
is, I did like that person too, but it was like, if that's gonna be a problem for you, then
yeah. That happens so much. Like, guys, really, if you're interested in a girl or woman at this age, we're women.
Yeah.
Just do it. Okay, you're not a boy. Just you're a man. Okay, stop going through someone else, because a lot of the time that happened to me too. Like, I was interested, but I felt like the person wasn't. And years later, after I've moved on with my life, it's like, oh, I had a crush on you. What am I supposed to do with that now? I moved on. I already, like, went places.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, I nope. But yeah, for sure, like, that's something that I would say I was worried about it. It kind of helped weeding out people.
Right.
But I've had experience online, like, the person would ask, oh, what do I do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a student. And then they would ask more questions, and I'll say I'm a medical student, and the conversation ends right then and there.
And they don't say anything.
Yeah,
Wow.
They disappear. So, heck no. All right, so let's get the tea now. Now that we've acquainted ourselves with the peeps online.
Oh, hello.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you and your husband met, and like
online?
Yeah, online, like you said, and like, what was that process like as you were studying and getting to know that person?
That's a
while
good
you
question.
were very stressed, because the master's program was very stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good question. It's funny because you mentioned people being intimidated by the title medical school student.
Yeah.
But for me, it was, I feel like this is what attracted him to me.
Mm-hmm.
His first message to me was, why medical school, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and honestly, it's the only reason why I started talking to him. It was because of that question. Like, nobody online had ever asked me, why do you want to become a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, they would come to me, and the first thing they would say would be, I like this picture, or you look beautiful. But nobody ever asked me, right off the bat, why medical school?
Mm-hmm.
So that made me want to talk to him. And long story short, ever since that day, we haven't stopped talking. And in terms of going to school and the stress that brought, I think it's important to find someone who's gonna be understanding of your path, understanding of what you're going through, and that was him.
Yeah.
I never had to put school aside because I had to figure things out with him.
Good.
Because from the get-go, he knew I was in medical school. Well, at the time it was a master's program, but he knew he knew about that, and he knew what the demands of that were, and I never had to really explain anything to him. He just figured it out on his own. Like, okay, you need to study, I'll give you your space. You need to do this. But one thing for sure is that he would always check in. And that's one thing I appreciated.
Yeah.
He would always check in. I know you're studying, but how's it going? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Not of, I know you're studying and you're spending all of your time studying. I feel like you're not paying much attention to me type thing. It was more like, I'm just checking in on you. You're okay? Okay, cool. Go back to studying.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So yeah, I never really had to stress about my relationship with him. If anything, school, yeah. But my relationship with him, I never had to stress about it because I didn't have to baby him through it. I didn't have to hold his hand and tell him, okay, at this time, I'm going to be doing this. He already knows that that's what I'm doing. So yeah, he would give me my space. He would give me time to study. And yeah. So in terms of managing stress of a relationship and stress of school, I didn't really have to do that.
Love to hear it. So with that said, did you feel like you had to set certain boundaries still with him with study time versus date time?
I know very early on what I did was I come up with a schedule at the beginning of each semester, and I change it weekly just to make sure that I'm on top of things. What I did was just give him a general idea of when I would be in class or what my study time was, or what even my lunch break. I was on, okay, this is when my lunch break will happen. And at the time, I had when I'm at lunch, nobody talks to me because that's my time for myself.
Yes.
So I would put on a show on Netflix, eat, and this is my time to me, and then go to class. So yeah, I just give him a brief idea of what my day was like, and based off of that, he would just know when to call, when to text, and stuff like that. And we had a pretty strict schedule, really. It would happen around the same time every day, like talking. And also, he would work from 9 to 5, so.
Yeah, so either way, when you're in class, he's at work. So. It's not like he's sitting there waiting for you to come back.
Right.
No shade to people out there. I'm just saying, it gets more challenging, I feel like, when the other person is not as preoccupied as you. And another thing I noticed is when people started with the relationship before they started with medical school, and then they switched to strict schedule, it gets very tough because you're used to something, and then all of a sudden the person is not paying as much attention to you. And sometimes people can't anticipate that would happen, but having someone who can adapt with you through the process is it's very
vital.
Important. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Communication. What I'm hearing right now is communication, having a schedule, like being transparent about the process and like what you're going through is very important.
Yeah.
And with that said, like when you think about your career as a physician, I know some people, they're like, oh, it's either I have the family or either I have the job. So do you feel like you can have it all, or you feel like you have to choose, between one of them?
I don't think I'll have to choose. Whatever decision I'll make will include all of it.
Right.
I'm too family oriented to just focus on my job, and I'm too career oriented to be just focused on my family. Nothing out there says that you can't have it all, so we're gonna go for it all.
I agree with that. Did you feel like you had to have a conversation early on about like gender roles? Because I feel like that's something that's like almost a burden to professional women, that they have to show up at work and they also have to show up in the home. Did you have that conversation? What did that look like for you?
I did have a conversation like this at the very beginning. I'm not going to lie, I hate being in the kitchen. I don't belong in the kitchen. I mean, if I have to do it, I'll do it, but I don't belong there. And the conversation started with me not liking being in the kitchen.
Right.
And it was me basically telling him, I'm not really sure what you're expecting, but
just letting me cooking for you. Just letting you know right now.
And I said, oh, that's okay. We just buy food out every day. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine with me. And then we also had a conversation about who do you think should clean the house type of thing. Who do you think should do this? Who do you think should do that? Whoever has time. That was his answer to me. And even now, most of the cleaning he does. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I do most of the cooking, even though I hate being in the kitchen, but he does most of the cleaning. So I think it's a good balance. And for example, I had an exam today, and if I'm busy studying for an exam, he'll take care of it.
Right.
Like he quickly made something for me last weekend while I was studying.
About to hear it.
It wasn't like my food, but I'm just kidding.
No, she's not.
Okay, I'm half kidding. But honestly, it was just the fact that I was sitting here sweating, studying. I even cried because I felt like, okay, I can't do this. I felt like a phony at the time, just like studying for this exam. And second year is so much different than first year. I felt like, and I broke down. And I just started being like, okay, I feel like I'm a phony. I don't belong in medical school. Why can't I get this? It was a series of like going through all of the notes I had and feeling like I'm not retaining anything. And this is when it happened. I just like started crying. And then he came to me, whatever, just held me, talked me through it, and then he was like, okay, how about I make you something to eat? You like food.
You like food. You like to feel better.
I'm like, okay, and then yeah.
Man, listen, having someone who can support you through all of it.
Yeah, I think it's critical. It's vital. It's just necessary.
Yeah.
It's med school is too hard of a process for you to be babying anybody. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's way too much to focus on, way too much stress to be adding on more stress.
Yeah, to the thing.
To the journey.
Listen, this is a prayer when I talk to the Lord, okay, I told him I'm struggling with my career. Like, building my career is very difficult. Like, it takes a lot. It's a lot of pressure, especially as a Black woman. So I said, like, my relationship is something I don't want to be struggling in. Like, I want it to be effortless. And really, there needs to be a balance, you know? Like, I feel like sometimes Black women, if something comes too easy to us, you know, like, it's almost like we don't, it's too easy. There's a plot twist coming.
Amen.
Like,
that's how I felt.
Yeah, listen. You already know. Okay? Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, cheers to that. Because when something looks too good to be true, I won't lie.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, what you gonna do now? Okay, I'm waiting for something to change. Okay, the consistency is there or something. Like, you're like, wait, I didn't even have to tell you what to do. What? So
that's how I felt.
So listen, pay attention to these, like, don't self-sabotage the process. That's a lesson for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I almost did.
Yeah. Just go with it. If it's going to be, it will be, for sure. And if you feel like you have to force it, for sure, don't go through it. They always say, like, coaches teach. That's how I feel right now. I always have some good advice. Okay.
And then when it comes for you to follow them.
Yeah, when it comes to me to follow them.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
I think do not self-sabotage is a really good advice.
I
think we get caught up in things and we just start making weird decisions, really. Been there, done that. So,
yeah.
I think it's a matter of learning from your mistakes and not repeating them again.
Right. All right. Well, I love to hear it. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Of course.
And giving us some tea, some tips as well on how to go about the process. For me as well, I think that women can have it all, the family, the career, you know, like, we're supposed to be multifaceted. That's the word I'm looking for. And I think, you know, especially Black women, we just go for it. Like we're more and more Black women are getting their degrees, and it gets intimidating to other people when they see us with, like, MS, MPH, so you know, like, all the letters of the alphabet after their name. But honestly, like, we just want something genuine, and it's not like we're looking for something that's so outside of the world. Like, we're looking for commitment, loyalty, like the basic stuff. And we're not asking you to be here with, like, the whole letter of the alphabet outside of, like, behind your name. That's us, okay? We're doing us. Okay, we're asking you to do you.
We'll share some letters with you.
Okay, like, we'll encourage you, okay? We're here for you. We just need to know if you're here for us.
Exactly.
But anyway, like, a lesson, you know, Lay always reminds me to be open-minded, because I'm very strict, too, when it comes to dating. I won't lie.
Yeah. It's a thing that has to be learned, because I was the exact same way.
Yeah.
I was very, like, narrow-minded when it came to dating. Very closed, I guess. And I had an idea of dating and an idea of the man that I wanted in my head.
Listen, can we talk about that before we leave? Actually, we're not done yet.
And I did not want to get it out of my head.
Listen.
And it was like, you have to check this box, this box, this box, this box. And if that box doesn't get checked, then bye-bye.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I had to learn. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. He's probably not even checking all of his boxes for me.
Right.
But, it's a matter of just knowing that nobody's perfect. Because
Right.
you're not.
Yeah. Oh, monkey lovely. Okay, I fully understand because that, like, I feel like for the past few years, I've tried to date the same type of guys and it was not working out, you know? Like, he needs to look good on paper. He needs to have, a master's and above. He needs to be this tall. He needs to love Jesus on top of that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he needs to have a six-pack. Okay, I wasn't going that far, but you get the point. And after a while, you know, it felt like I would change a few things. I would be like, okay, whatever. He doesn't have the height. I'll let it go. But I still want a nerd and all of that. And it felt like I was dating the same man over and over again. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't being open-minded at all.
I think it is important to be open-minded, and by the same token, do remember your core values and what you're not willing to let go of.
Yeah.
Basically your deal breakers.
Yeah.
If you want someone who loves Jesus, who's very religious, because you're religious, if that's a deal breaker for you,
What we do?
do not do not let that go because you're trying to find someone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, certain other things on your list you can let go of. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't need to be 6 feet tall. He doesn't need to have a six-pack.
Yeah.
But that one core value that you have, don't let it go.
Yeah. For sure. Like, the character is definitely what I'm picking up is important because, for instance, I was out here going out with someone who was in a residency, and I'm thinking, you know, like, something's popping, I'm being claimed or whatever. First of all, he did not see me that way. Uno. And second of all, I got to interact with him in public, and I saw how he treated other people.
That's another thing.
And I was like, oh no, it's like the Holy Spirit went into me in that moment. I was like, no. Thank goodness I saw that.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
observing
another
the
thing.
person.
It's easy for them to be good to you because
Yes.
they're trying to keep you.
Mm-hmm.
At least for as long as they want to keep you for.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, just looking at people's interaction with other people, with their family, with their parents, knowing how they treat those people can help you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone can look great on paper, and then when you look on the inside, it's trash in there. I'm more into the person's character, and, you know, like, for instance, the six-pack's gonna fade away.
That is true.
That's true. The six-pack's gonna fade away. Like, it's very rare for someone to stay in shape their whole lifetime. There's some things that are very could be temporary.
Yeah.
And people are just like, you know, he could be, I don't know, have so many letters but still can't find a job. What about that? You know, so there's some things that are temporary, and especially during the pandemic, I feel like this year opened our eyes.
Right, and even if they did have a job, they could lose that job.
Yeah, they could lose that job.
So it's a matter of when that person loses a job and is in the house with you 24/7, or whenever you're in the house with you, we're not gonna be in there 24/7. When you're with that person all the time, do you see yourself living with that person?
Do you like the person?
Right.
Like, is that a friend to you?
Right, someone you can talk to.
Yeah. Or was it eye candy once upon a time, and
Exactly.
No, we're all stress eating, and the six-pack is gone. You have nothing to look at.
Get a couple of double cheeks.
But seriously,
There's
you get
that
the point.
too.
You get the point. Like, seriously.
I mean, don't get us wrong. We're not saying that you should be attracted to the person you're with, but it's not all that.
Yeah, it's not all of it, for sure. Well, this is a lesson for me. I really enjoyed our conversation. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please drop them below in the comment section. Please make sure to like, okay, subscribe, if I add it right here.
Right there.
Right there, subscribe. And I hope you guys are staying safe and sane if you're in school, like we're trying to do. And yeah, we'll see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.